Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the manly Patrick Riggins Show here on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. Just got Tori sold on that song now.
That's pretty cool.
He liked that song coming in.
Oh, man.
Now are you man? That's from a movie. If you want to find out what that is, just do a search for, what's their names? Matt and Trey, the guys who did South Park. If you do just a search for Now You're a Man, you'll find the name of the movie, and you can watch it. Just don't judge the movie by the name. It's a good one. All right. This segment, I'm going to get into this thing with the president. He's been revealing little details about his upcoming budget, and even took some time during his weekly address yesterday to offer a few clues as to what we can expect when the whole thing is fully released. Now, here is how he started his address this week.
Our top priority as a nation, and my top priority as president, must be doing everything we can to reignite the engine of America's growth, a rising, thriving middle class. That's our North Star. That must drive every decision that we make.
Now, he could solve this problem real quickly if he really wanted to. Just get the government out of the way, or reduce government spending by 50% and watch America grow. But they don't want that. It's like when you're watching an old 80s scary movie and some crazy person is running around a co-ed camp offing kids right and left. When if just one of them had a gun, the movie'd be over in about 5 minutes. You know, it's a scary crazy man with a knife and a chainsaw is trying to kill me. Exactly.
Bam.
Woman pulls out, bang. Dead crazy scary man. Movie's over.
Roll credits.
Yeah, thanks for attending. See you next week. So, anyway, the president went on to actually lie about his budget projections and how his budget will reduce the deficit and grow the economy. Now, I'm not even going to bother playing them because, frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of listening to this. Let's just call it what it is. It's a seemingly psychopathic liar hell-bent on turning this country into a government-run work camp. Which, if you get right down to it, that's what these people who think they are elite, the rulers of the rest of us, that's what they want. A class of Americans who go to work, pay burdensome taxes, and live how they say we should live. They don't really want people. They want cattle. You know, if you think about it, that's what is really going on. They want to build barns to house us. They want to pick our food and feed us. They want to load us onto cattle trailers and haul us to market. And in the end, when we're no longer productive, they're going to slaughter us. Now, just think about that for a second and see how correct I am in that. They build barns for us through housing projects, through forcing banks to loan money to people who can't pay it back. The government has all sorts of housing programs for us, the American citizen cattle. The government wants to be able to pick out our food and feed us on what it thinks we should be eating, just like a farmer does with his livestock. Heck, they're already doing it in New York City. And the government can further manipulate your diet through the new health care law. They provide taxpayer-subsidized busing so you can get to your job to create more taxable money for the government. And when you're old and cannot produce anymore, the new health care law allows the government to withhold vital medical care, which could prolong your life. Unless you're someone who is worth saving or can somehow contribute more money to a campaign or the tax coffers, then they might keep you around a little bit longer. Here's another, getting back to that address, here's another clip from that.
And will enact common sense tax reform that includes closing wasteful tax loopholes for the wealthy and well-connected.
So The well-connected people have been getting away with stuff. You mean like Solyndra getting a $535 million taxpayer-funded loan from the government? And now, since it is bankrupt, instead of the taxpayers getting first dibs on that liquidation money, a key Obama supporter who also invested in the company, he's getting his money back first. That guy's George Kaiser. He's a billionaire from Oklahoma. He was a key bundler of donations for Obama's 2008 campaign. He gets his money first, before the taxpayers. That's us, by the way. We have to take whatever's left over. Is that what you mean by well-connected people taking advantage of the government, Mr. Obama? Well, sure it is.
Every day, we should ask ourselves 3 questions. How do we make America a magnet for good jobs? How do we give our workers the skills they need to do those jobs? And how do we make sure that hard work leads to a decent living?
Am I the only person who finds this offensive? How do we make America a magnet for good jobs? Simple. As I just stated, get government out of the way. How do we give our workers the skills they need to do those jobs? Again, simple, you don't. Educating citizens is not the government's job. You can't find it in the Constitution. And if it's not in there, then the government shouldn't be doing it. The reason why we don't want government educating our people is because there's too much politicizing of the education process. The government has to approve what you're being taught. And does that sound like a good idea to you? Letting the government decide what is taught to your children and what isn't? We all complain about it, sure, and then turn around and send our kids to government schools, where they're taught to be good and compliant citizens, taught the correct way to think, the politically correct way to look at the world. Does that sound like something you want your kids to be indoctrinated with? Well, they are. That's what's going on in government schools. Oh, but Patrick, you say, if you take the government out of schooling, if you don't have mandatory schooling, our children are going to fall behind the rest of the world. You mean more than they are already? Students in Latvia, Chile, Brazil. Now, I know some people who went to government schools, is going to be hard. You're going to have to look on the globe and really find these places. But people in those countries are making gains in academics 3 times faster than American students. For those of you who can't quite get a grasp on that, or for the guy I saw this today on the way in the gasoline store, if you have 1 candy bar, they have 3. That's how you can think about that. Students in Portugal, Hong Kong, Germany, Poland, Liechtenstein, Slovenia, Colombia, and Lithuania are making gains in academics at twice the rate of American students. Our American students ranked 25th in math, 17th in science, and 14th in reading. Only 6% of U.S. students scored at the advanced level on the PISA 2006 math exam. 12 other countries had more than twice the percentage of advanced students than the United States. It doesn't sound to me like the government education system's working. But the solution, according to the government and the teachers' unions, is to throw more money at it. And just like Solyndra, throwing money at a bad solution doesn't make it a good solution. It just makes the bad solution even more expensive. As I stated on this show just last week, in relation to school shootings, if you're doing something and the outcome isn't what you are expecting, then you have to change what you are doing to change the outcome. Once you've banned guns in schools and you get a shooting, banning them even more won't work. They're already banned. So you have to do something else. Now, I won't get into all that, but if you want my take on the matter, that whole school thing, after the show's over today, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Patrick Reagan Show. Listen to the gun control segments from just last week. But in that same vein, if government educating our children is not working, then more government education isn't going to help either. They're already educating our kids. It isn't working. So continuing down this same road is lunacy. Wouldn't you agree? Or as the president likes to say, we can all agree. 90% of Americans agree. He said it 2 weeks ago about gun control. Again, played it on the show. Check the YouTube channel. So if 90% of Americans agree we need universal background checks, that's his reason for pushing them. I would contend when presented with these education numbers, probably 95% of Americans would agree our education system isn't working. All right, we're up on the middle break of this show already. Just running right down the rails. When we come back, we'll try to hit a little bit of this, a little bit more on the budget here. We'll talk about that there space agency, NASA, Supreme Court, and we'll keep teasing you with the little Target shopper story, which we'll get to coming up in the next half hour. You got that, Tori? There we go. I was giving him a chance. He's coming along better than he was last week. This is Patrick Riggins on the Patrick Riggins Show on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. Join us again in about 2 minutes.